In this video, I'm going to show you some of the hands-on activities for Chapter 7. First, you have to download the files for these labs or hands-on activities. In your Blackboard, from your Blackboard you can download the starter files. The zip file is right there. So you can use CSS to change the font size or the type of fonts that you want to use. Usually when you have an HTML page, the fonts that the browser will display depends on the fonts that are installed in your computer or in the client computer. So if my web page or HTML, the default one is Arial font, and if you don't have the Arial font in your computer, the browser will pick a default one. If you want to avoid that, you can give a list of fonts that the browser can look for. So if you put like font family in your CSS, it would say that for the P tag, if the font Arial is available, use that. If not, it has to look for Helvetica or sans serif and things like that. So in the new CSS 3, there is a new thing coming up that would allow you to point to font where the font is listed, maybe in a URL somewhere in another server. So these are some other properties. Font size, here it says 90%. That means 90% of the default font size for P. Here, list item, you are changing the font weight to bold, so it will show you a bold font in your web page. Font style, line height is also another thing. You can adjust the line height to, in this case 120% of the default line height. Then in the font size, sometimes you would see EM as a unit. If you see 1 EM, you can think of it as 100%. And 0.5 EM would be like 50%. It all comes from the typing industry. They are using these terminologies, so they are still using that. So 1 EM corresponds to 100%. So if you see 2 EM in your size value, you can think of it as 200%. The next thing would be aligning the text. So it is better to do the alignment rules in CSS rather than putting it in line, or the text indentation. You can specify all that. Then you have to think about the width. For each element, you can specify how much the width should be based on the browser window. So this says show this H1 on only 80% of the width of the window. Now let's go ahead and do some hands-on activities that would apply the things that we talked about. So you need to download your file, and then you have to find, in my case I have it in one of the documents here, so I have to go find it. So go ahead and open the hands-on 7.1 starter file. So let me see how this file looks like now. It's the file that we have been working on. So in here I'm going to say that for the body tag, I'm going to say the font family. I'm giving a lot of options. If Arial is available, use that. If not, use this one or sans serif. Okay, so that is the font family. So I'm going to save this and see, and here you can see that all of the text all over the web page, they are taking the Arial font. Now if I want to specifically apply something different, maybe to H2, I'm going to actually copy and paste here, and here instead of Arial, okay, maybe Georgia, okay, and maybe Times New Roman. If you have space in your font names, you have to use quotes, Times New Roman. So if I save this, you can see that the body tag, except for the H2, you have the other font, but this have the Georgia font. So that's how you apply different font. So you can do the same thing if you would like to any place. Let me just put that in the footer also. Font family. Alright. So you can see that this is different from the body font family that we just did. Now I'm going to go ahead and open from hands-on 7.2 starter file, and let me see how it looks like. Alright. And here I'm going to put some line height. There's a P tag that says the company will bring you company's web presence and things like that. So I'm going to add a new rule. Since I don't have a rule for P yet, I'm going to add P. Make sure you have open close bracket for your rules, and I'm going to say line height 120%. What it means is make the line height 120% of the default. So if you see that, so you would see that there is a difference in the line height. To maybe to make it very prominent, I'm going to say that line height maybe 300%, just to show how it changes it. You can see that there is that line height difference because the line height is 300%. Okay, so you would see that much difference in there. So I'm just going to put 120 back, which looks like that. So you can use line height to adjust the line spacing between lines in your paragraph. I don't know if you have seen it before, but you can have multiple selectors, say like list index P, and then you can have rules for both of them. So make sure that you pay attention and know that you can have multiple selectors for rules. So here I am going to say that font size should be 90%. So that means font size should be 90% of the default for that. So if you see that, you may not notice that, but the font size is only 90%, and here too. But if you want to see a dramatic difference, I'm just going to say, for the sake of showing you, to 30% and see how it becomes the 30% of the default. So you can see that now it is like very small. So you can use the font size attribute to change the size of the default for say P or LI tag and things like that. Another thing would be font weight that we discussed. So you would say font weight, and in this case I'm saying bold, so that company name class, which is the place where you say Trillium Media Design, it should be in bold now. So if you look at it in the Firefox, you can see that it became bold. Okay, and maybe now for the footer, I'm going to say that I want to make it italic. So here I would say that again, maybe font size to be 0.8 em. That means 80% of the default size for the footer. And then font style, I'm going to say italic. It's not italics, it's italic. So make sure that you have it written right. So you would launch that in Firefox. You can see that it's written in italics and it's 0.8% of the default. So that is the italics. Alright, now I'm going to go to hands-on 7.3. You can get the starter files from here, and I'm going to open that and see how the current page looks like. Okay, it's actually, you know, the continuation of what we are doing so far. The next thing is about aligning and indenting the text. So in here for the paragraph, I'm going to add some indentation. All right, so here it would be text indent. I'm saying 3em, like a 300% of the regular size of the font. So that is text indent. So if you go run it, you can see that it's moved here. So there is some indentation. So that's how you do the indentation. Okay, or you can say 120 pixel, or you can use any other way of expressing that distance. In terms of aligning text, I'm going to say for the footer to align its center. You have to use text align for that. Text align and center. So the footer should be aligned center now. Let's see that. Now it is aligned center. Here you can see that your body content is taking the whole width of your browser. So you would see the indenting or centering this footer, may not look right, but in a couple of hands on ahead, you would see how you can restrict the width of the whole website, and then it would look much better. So that is how you align your text within your web page. For the next one, I'm going to go to 7.4 starter file and open up the index file, and let's see how it looks like currently. So that's how it looks like. And now I'm going to talk about the width. Width would be telling how much of the browser's viewport you want this page to be. So it would be the property width, and you can specify the minimum width. That means you would specify a minimum width, and if the browser become less than the minimum width, then the scroll bars will appear. So let's go ahead and say that in the body, its width should be 80% of the window. So I'm going to say that width of the body tag, or everything in the body, should be 80%. Okay, so let me go ahead and see how that looks. So run. So it would be only 80%. See, this elements within the body, all of them is not going that far. So you can change that into anything that you want. And so that's how it looks like. Okay, so here you can see that it's adjusting according to the browser. Now I'm going to say that minimum width should be 600 pixel. All right, so we have the width and the minimum width. So if it becomes less than 600, you would see it should give you the scroll bar here. So that's the minimum width. So